What up? Watching another episode, Dallas Ebonics, where we talk black. And so, I want to talk about the article I had seen today for CBS News, titled, Ashville, North Carolina backs reparations in historical vote. It is simply not enough to remove statues. Sound good. So I'm gonna just go through a couple facts in the article that I seen. You know, as of 2018, the population was about 92,000. Not that many people. 78% of those people are white. About 11% is black. You know, the rest is everybody else. And it's a unanimous vote. Everybody voted across the board to approve this bill, which I find interesting. Because most of the time, anytime we ask for something, y'all buck against us. It's kind of odd that everybody just agreed to this. And so, a couple things that was in the article. It says the resolution on reparations does not require direct payments, but will mandate investments in areas where black residents face disparities. And let's stop right there. Let's just stop right there. Because we didn't ask y'all for reparations for disparities. We asked y'all for reparations for slavery. We want the 246 years of unpaid labor. That's what we asked for. We didn't say nothing about no disparities. Now, the redlining and the gentrification and you know, all of the other stuff that y'all do within the city, yeah, we can address that when we ready. We didn't ask for that. We asked for the 246 years of unpaid labor. That's the reparations that we want. Now, whether it comes in cash payments or whether it comes in land, like the 40 acres and a mule that you originally promised us, but we know that y'all can't give us that now, because if you give every black person 40 acres and a mule, it wouldn't be no America. But anyway, if we telling y'all we want the 246 years of unpaid labor, what are y'all giving us all this other stuff? We didn't ask y'all for all this other stuff. A lot of the disparities that y'all are talking about came after slavery. Okay, and they will be addressed, believe that. But first, we want the reparations for slavery. Okay. And I also find it relevant to note that we proved ourselves to be self-sufficient after slavery. You know what I'm saying? So once slavery was over, we didn't need y'all's help to get on our feet. The reason why we're in the position that we in now is because of all the extra stuff y'all have done to make sure that we end up in this situation that we in now. But without y'all's intrusion, we know how to be self-sufficient. We already proved that. For example, in Wilmington, North Carolina, in the state that we talking about. Y'all, we had a thriving community there, and then y'all burned it down in 1898. The Wilmington Massacre. Burned the whole city down. And then you turned around and did it again in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We all know the story of Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Burnt the whole city down. That was in 1920. And I think it's others. Every time that we have shown ourselves to be self-sufficient, y'all have come and torn us down. We don't need reparations to get us back to where we was. We need y'all to leave us alone. That's all we need. If y'all would just leave us alone, we can get ourselves back to where we're supposed to be. We asking y'all for reparations, once again, for the 246 years of unpaid labor. That's what y'all need to be paying us. Not for nothing else. We can address those other issues when we get ready. You know, and we all know about Charleston, North Carolina. What happened in 2015, the main Dylan Roof going there, shoot up all them people. If any city in North Carolina was gonna get reparations, you know, why not Charleston? You know, but I'm not from North Carolina. So let's keep going. The article also states, priorities could include efforts to increase minority home ownership, access to affordable housing, and minority business ownership. Senator Cory Booker, he had a quote in there, and I ain't gonna read the whole quote, but I'm gonna read that little part. It say, these disparities don't just harm black communities, they harm all communities. And this is why the black men that are in political positions of power are so dangerous. Because white folks listen to those black men. And they assume that those black men speak for all black people. And that's a lie. That's a lie. This is my, what I would say to Cory Booker. Cory Booker, were all people in slavery or were black people in slavery? Were all people sold on an auction block or were black people sold on an auction block? Were all people taken from Africa or were black people taken from Africa? See, y'all love to lump everybody else into our stuff. Why are y'all sitting here talking about increasing minority home ownership? We didn't say anything about minority home ownership. We said we want reparations for the 246 years of unpaid labor from slavery. Why y'all talking about minority? Who is a minority? A white woman is a minority. An Asian is a minority. A Mexican is a minority. Hey, bro, white women were not out there in the field with us. Asians were not out there in the field with us. I don't want to hear nothing about all of this minority this and minority that. No. We're not talking about none of the disparities that y'all created after slavery. We're not talking about that. We want reparations for the 246 years of unpaid labor. Period, point blank. All this other stuff y'all talking about is a distraction. You know what I'm saying? So I'm tired of that. And we know that they real good at that and lumping us in with everybody else in order to keep us from getting anything. They good at that. They've mastered that. Especially the Democrats. But this ain't about them. So, in another article I read for U.S. News, I read that Chicago and Evanston, Illinois, have also approved reparations. Which is odd because Chicago's the same city that banned all black history books from the jails and the prisons just last year. And now y'all approve reparations? That don't even make any sense. But anyway, in my personal opinion, I feel like that's a bad thing. These individual cities approving reparations, because every individual city may not have the same idea of what reparations is. You know what I'm saying? Whereas every single black person, all of our ancestors went through the exact same slavery. All of us went through slavery. It was bad all across the board. But these individual cities are trying to give, segments of blacks reparation. We are one people, and we should be paid at one time. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say the responsibility is on the federal government, because the federal government is who gave these individual cities power to disenfranchise us. The federal government allowed them to create the whole redlining and get away with that. They allowed them to gentrify our neighborhoods and get away with that. We already know. I don't gotta go down the list, man. We know what y'all done already. We know that the responsibility is on the federal government. They are the ones that bought and paid for us to come over here. The federal government. They are the ones that have allowed the cities to terrorize us, and not a single human being was arrested for Tulsa, Oklahoma. That responsibility falls on the federal government because that was an obvious and blatant hate crime. We know that. The responsibility is on the federal government, and they have not given us justice. Even on the individual level, within the cities, when these police shoot us in the face, they will not give us justice. The responsibility to pay us reparations is on the federal government. You know what I'm saying? And so, if we let these individual cities do it, then what's going to happen, how I feel what's going to happen, is that they're going to give us whatever they decide is acceptable, right? Because I ain't seen nobody walk through Dallas and ask us, what does reparations look like to you? Ain't nobody even asked us our opinion. And I can almost guarantee that they didn't walk through the hood of Chicago and ask them what does reparations look like. I'm almost willing to bet that they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever these individual cities determine reparations look like, that's what they're going to give. And then, the federal government going to say, oh, well, if we ever get them to pay reparations, they're going to say, oh, well, we don't have to pay Chicago because they got it. We don't have to pay, what's that city in North Carolina that we talking about? Ashville? Yeah, we ain't got to pay them because they got it. You know what I'm saying? And if individual cities begin to follow the pattern of these cities, then it's going to come down, the government going to say, we ain't got to pay y'all nothing because the cities done already paid y'all. Whether or not that payment we feel is is acceptable or not is irrelevant, because the government gonna say we paid. You know what I'm saying? So I think we really have to make sure that we maintain the momentum. The responsibility is on the federal government. We do not want reparations for disparities that y'all caused after slavery. That's not what we asking for. We will get that whenever we decide that we want that. Right now, what we asking for is the reparations for the 246 years of unpaid labor from slavery. That's what we want. And we want that on a federal level. The federal government is the one that need to pay us. And that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents, dog. You know, if that city is cool with getting it like that, y'all do y'all thing. I'm not telling nobody what to do. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is on the federal government. So, holla at me.